frame is value. So
exactly.
I rock that beautiful footage.
Brewed and amused.
Brewed and amused.
Brewed and amused, number 2.
Well, hold on, let me get a beer.
Yep. Jason's
you got one here?
Yep, you got one there.
All right.
This is brewed and amused. We're going to get brewed while we amuse each other and hopefully amuse you in the process. And we got our friends Jason and Sarah join us today. We're going to talk a lot about them here in a little bit. We'll talk about some grasses and conditions in the lawn right now. And then we'll talk about these guys. And then we'll get into some random subjects as the conversation goes on and see what the rabbit hole takes us. This is going to be the part where I'm going to address a question or two from the last podcast and let these guys ask me some questions if some pop up, and then we'll go on down the road. So the first question that came up, or one of the questions that came up, was types of grasses in this area. We have 3 main types of grasses. There's a 4th one that is kind of a pain in our ass, and that being centipede. It's a lazy man. They call it the lazy man's grass because you don't really have to do anything to it, and then they always hire us to do it, and we kill it.
Is it the real low growing?
It's low growing. Kind of looks like zoysia.
It's real tight.
And it's just it got a nice feel to it, and they say a pound of nitrogen a year is all it takes, and we're usually putting a pound of nitrogen a couple of times a year per 1,000 square feet. And they're
so on the centipede, does it shade, sun? What's the tolerance?
Everything.
Anything.
It's pretty much. It doesn't matter. Lazy man's. It's it's very prone to fungus up here, and it's. You can't put pre-emergence on it; it'll kill it. You put post-emergence on it and spray individual weeds; it'll kill it. You put lime on it; it'll kill it. So it's one that we just don't even want to consider anymore. But the main ones here are zoysia. You've got Bermuda. Those 2 are predominantly what we're going to see.
Devil grass.
Devil grass. Primarily what we're going to see in lower North Georgia, south, and that's where we're kind of situated.
So that's centipede.
Let's don't
Bermuda.
even talk about centipede anymore.
Yeah.
Bermuda and zoysia.
Zoysia. That's 3. All right.
Well, let's forget the centipede. But the 3 types would be zoysia, Bermuda, and fescue.
Fescue is the
We're just at that transition period area of fescue. You go to Kentucky, everywhere.
I grew up with fescue, so.
In your home here?
Well, when I was a kid.
When you're a kid, Norcross area, right?
Yep.
Shaded? Or
front yard, not at all. Backyard, semi.
Took care of. So it's feasible in this area because we don't stay 100 degrees forever like you would in South Georgia or Florida, Texas, whatever it might be. So it is manageable. It is difficult here, and it's a challenge for us. It is very difficult.
Kudos to my dad because we always had a beautiful yard, man.
Yeah, man. So. Whatever he was doing, it was. But
it's not a seed, is it? It's a.
You got to reseed it every year. There are cultivars of fescue that do creep and that do seed, but predominantly the ones that are in this area are ones that you have to reseed every fall and or spring to keep them nice and thick. And I don't know what your dad did. I don't know if he was home a lot or whatever and able to do that kind of stuff on their own, because that was. I mean, your dad's 90 year old.
Yeah.
So a lot of that stuff people did on their own.
What do you get when you straw a yard? Just straw grass, just weeds. There's nothing that's coming out of
whatever's
that.
Whatever. It's hay is what it is. Baled hay.
Okay.
And predominantly you're gonna get weeds and some fescue and maybe some Bermuda and whatever.
Okay.
And don't recommend doing that. No, don't do that. And then you got to pull up the dead stuff when it's gone.
So fescue is what we had, but it was always real thick blade, just beautiful, really nice. Grew like crazy.
Once you get it established and you get the soil right, man, you can do some good stuff with it.
Yeah,
it's just tough up here, and and it's hard to maintain because you got to do that routine seeding and do the right things at the right time with it.
Yeah, I do remember him out a lot with the spreader at times when he was home, and we watered a lot. You know,
Yeah, and you
constantly
gotta water a lot, especially in the summertime to keep the soil cool, keep enough moisture in
But
it.
it was real rich green, long blades.
awesome.
Yeah, it was really pretty.
Yeah. So he did things right, and you can do it right. There's a few lawns around here, and as you get up to the mountains where there's more shade and trees from the trees, obviously
Doesn't work as well.
it does.
Oh, it does.
That's
Shade's
where we
better.
see
Okay.
more of it.
Okay.
That's where we see more of it, and because the Bermudas don't work well up there, and so. But Bermuda is what we see more commonly than not down here now because of builders. It's cheaper than sodding with fescue. You can get fescue sod out of Tennessee or Kentucky, but it's more expensive. And the more shade tolerant things get, the more expensive they are when you're talking about sod. So builders are using regular 419 Bermuda to sod their lawns, and then
I think a lot of the issues I've found with my yard is preparation to begin with. You know,
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
don't care.
you're starting from a bad base. You know, it's like starting from a bad foundation. Doesn't matter how much, you know, how great your sod is. If your soil sucks, you know, if you haven't had any, you know, ever sanding or leveling or any of that to begin with, and I think that's the problem with some of the spots in my lawn is that we just never have done a really good foundation to start with.
Yeah.
Fairy rings?
Fairy ring?
Fairy rings.
I don't know. What is that? A
Fair-
About
firework?
that last night.
Fairy ring is a fungus that shows up in some lawns, and it starts out with a mushroom in a ring.
An actual mushroom? Or
Yeah, little bit mushrooms.
Little
A ring-
bitty
And it's a
mushrooms.
fungus and pops up, and then it leaves a ring and then kills the inside of it eventually. And it's not something we commonly see here, but it does happen. And it's usually, to your point, in the soil. Problems with the soil that we see a lot here. One, because of the Georgia red clay. Two, the preparation, to your point, that when builders bring in landscapers to put sod down, they just run it over with a skid steer, bobcat, whatever it may be, plop it down, and
Yeah,
it's your problem, right? It's your problem.
Yeah. Looks great for about 2 years.
And then you start getting
Bare
it through
spots
a summer
Yeah.
where the roots have to go deeper to be more tolerant of the summer, and it can't do that.
Yeah.
And that's the things that we have to. That's one of the things that we have to combat when we're taking over lawns. Is we switched y'all to a golf course program, so Corey has the opportunity to work on the soil part of it and promote root growth. Deeper the root growth, and the more tolerant it's going to be, and that is the most common problem that we have in yards, and especially builders making trash yards.
You're right. Yeah.
Trash dump yards.
I've dug up all kinds of stuff out of my yard.
And they don't care.
Yeah,
They
they don't.
Once you sign that, that's your problem. So
They're
they don't care.
supposed, Forsyth County is supposed to do some kind of regulating on, you know, that kind of stuff, but I don't think it ever gets done.
I mean, it's like anything else. Regulation only gets you so far, right? So
I find netting, like all kinds of netting in my yard. I don't know if it's the erosion. I don't know if it's the erosion netting, but I mean, it's the stuff I find the orange stuff, and it's literally like a net. It's not the black stuff. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And once it's in there, you can't get it out.
yeah,
Because I mean, if it runs 5-6 feet, you can't pull it out because it's so buried in there.
it's everything.
It's
They don't
yeah.
care.
So
We see that a lot, and then we see what we've all had problems with is putting the trees in the front yard, and then that creates shade issues, root bound issues,
shallow roots too. They like to use the
Bermuda.
cheap river birch trees. You know,
Yeah,
plant them 3 feet away from your sidewalk or driveway.
or put like we saw with our pool. They put one on each corner of the pool, and it's just litters our pool. And
Yeah.
They just do the cheapest thing
They're
can.
required by county to put one tree in each front yard, so they've got to buy so many of them. They just pick the cheapest tree possible. And,
yep, that's right. And then you can switch to zoysia if you got shade-related issues as well, and that's something we're seeing.
We have Bermuda.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it's just, those are the 3 types of grasses we see.
So when I run into a situation like this and I've got bare spots and I'm bringing you in, is it advisable to go ahead and to get that foundation going? Should I scalp cut everything and sand to get the best soil? Does that start me on a good soil path, or how do I get back? Am I trying to spot treat it by going out and putting in try and cover those patches in better soil? Or
that is one of 1,000 things we could probably talk about.
Yeah.
Sanding helps with the root crown part of your soil, which is about this top portion. The root crown is very important. That's where it transfers all the energy to the grass blade itself, and what you see.
But those roots are going to run deeper than that sand core.
We hypothetically want our root system to be about this big.
On a Bermuda?
Wow.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Wow.
So that part isn't where the soil comes into play. Yes, you want to sand, so it's got a healthy place for the root crown. Because if you can imagine your body, let's say, you put lotion on your skin, whatever you do to your skin to make the outside look good quick. That's your root crown. Mm-hmm. But the stuff that you put in your body is what helps work from the outside, from the inside out. It's kind of the same thing with root system. This is the quick action.
Yep.
That root crown, you spray your chemicals or put nitrogen down or whatever. That's your quick action that takes it in quickly. And then your root system, even moisture, and then your root system is your long game.
No.
You got moisture, water, nutrients that it's pulling from here, and keeps a continuous supply from the outside in of making that grass look great from the outside, right? And those problems that persist down here, you can throw nitrogen down on it and make it pop quick. Yeah. And then over 2 or 3 week period, it starts to yellow out because there's nothing down here. The soil's not absorbing those nutrients. The soil's not holding the water that it needs. The root system can't go far enough down to pull that moisture.
So how do we fix that deep soil?
Bio-aeration products that loosen up the clay. We have a lot of rocky material up this way, or you may have some gravel, concrete, and so on and so forth that the builders left behind. And those bio-aeration chemicals help loosen that up and help get oxygen into.
Can you utilize those bioaerations at any point in time during the year, or is it something that has to be done?
You can do it once a month.
Okay.
You can do it once a month. Constantly keep a supply in it. Okay. Organics.
I have some in the garage.
Just keep putting it on
I bought some of that bio, and I did it twice, I think, and I saw a great effect, and then I quit. So I didn't know if it was a constant.
Just keep doing it.
Okay, so
there's other organisms in the soil that break down things that provide natural nutrients, nitrogens, lime, whatever it may be, in the soil that can keep that continuous supply going on to keep the grass on top healthy. There's cellular elongators. There's hormones that we can put in it to help promote those things in the soil. So that's the biggest thing that we deal with is the soil problems in this area.
Yeah. I think that's my biggest problem in my yard at this point is the soil, because I don't have any weed issues at this point other than the Poana that we can't do anything really about until we get into the hot season, which we probably never are this year. So what's going on?
That's one of our biggest headaches at this. Our pressure point and time of the season is April to June. We need 80+ degree weather to get rid of Poana. We put down pre-emergence for Poana in September, October.
Yeah.
The lifespan of that product is 6 months.
Yeah.
So September,
If you're not getting heat by April or May,
that product's gone.
Gone,
It's washed away. It's used up by the grass, and
yeah.
there's not much. Now, are we going to try to continue to research and redevelop our products to mitigate some of that? Yes, there's more plans in place to test and
What's
see.
been great about this cool weather is that I guess it's just killed off or held off the jarros this year, man. I haven't seen those spiders like we had. We're usually in the thick of it by now. Yeah.
July.
Yeah, July when
July
that
it'll
really
pop.
comes on.
That's. I think that's when we usually see them, is July. They'll pop here soon.
Yeah.
Seen a little evidence of them around a couple of houses that we've done some projects around, but they'll be here.
Yeah.
It won't be long. You'll wake up one morning and they're all over the
Big
power
sacks
lines
in the
or
trees
anything.
or yeah.
So, Patrick wanted me to talk about some services. You know, we started, personally, I started doing mowing. Y'all helped me get started and paying me to do some mowing, and
Traded you a lot.
yeah, John. But y'all helped me out, got me started doing mowing maintenance, and that's continued. And we've gone to more commercial type mowing. We do some residential within our routes, and then my business partner now, he had weed control, and we combine those. So we've got weed control and pest control, flea and tick, for lack of a better term, in your lawns, your tree and shrub services to promote shrub growth and to keep fungus and pests off your shrubs, fire ant control in your lawn, and then that transition into mosquito for protection. We were doing spraying for mosquitoes a while back, and then we transitioned into more a green product, which is called Into Care. And there is another product that we use called Insecto, and they're pods, for lack of a better term.
Trapping, yeah.
They come in, they land on the sachets and get a fungus on them. Actually, it's kind of harvested in the Amazon or something like that, and it's a growth regulator that gets on the mosquito. It's in the water. It's a pod that collects water. The growth regulator is in the water. They lay the eggs, and it prevents them from becoming adults.
Yeah, infertile. Prevents them from
becoming adults. They lay the eggs. They become.
Can I get some of that shit?
Yeah, they become larvae. There's a process for that, actually, and then they take that product and put it in their other breeding areas, and the process starts again. They lay their eggs, and then they can't hatch. Mm-hmm. They can only become larvae, and then it keeps on going down life's road and prevents mosquitoes. And then we down the road we picked up pest control, and that's matured into general pest and termite and rodent control.
I was gonna say, what about like squirrels, bats? Y'all doing anything with that?
That's wildlife.
Yeah.
Prevention or wildlife management.
It's a different arena.
That it also includes raccoons, and I don't have any interest in wrestling a raccoon.
Yeah.
But we do have partners and friends in the
Specialists.
industry that got the ladders and got the balls to.
And you
tackle.
guys really don't do install type stuff as far as landscaping goes quite as much anymore as you used to.
No, I tried to start a business unit. It's like your comment we were talking about. You got 100 ideas, you try one and try 10 of them, and one of them sticks, right? And installation game is a good one. It's a lot of money but it also takes a lot of labor.
Yeah. Same with irrigation and
it's good money
and drainage.
Yep.
You know, those
you
type
could
of.
do it. Takes a lot of labor. Takes
That's another
some
issue
know-how.
with yards. Yeah, is the drainage. You know,
Yep.
because if you're just washing away everything that you're laying down and your soil's been getting
Absolutely.
raped of its nutrients, then that may be an issue to have to address
It is.
also. Yeah.
Something again that we've got good partners and friends in the business that have more know-how than I've got, that got a younger back than I've got.
It's a lot of work.
It's and
A lot of labor.
and when we were trying to start those business units, labor started becoming a problem. Business was good, hard to find labor. Then COVID hit, and then it just became even harder to find workers to do things. And
People are getting
man,
paid to stay home.
and no offense to these type of guys, but there's a lot of guys that are 60 years old out there busting up clay and running machines and laying sod, and bless them for doing it, being able to do it. But I'm not that guy that can do it.
Yeah.
Nor am I that guy down the road that wants to do that. You know, I want to run my business.
Yeah.
I don't want to be my business.
Yeah.
Till I'm 60 or 70 years old. I want to be able to hire people. I want to be able to let people do the work for me, and I get the benefits. You know, eventually.
I'm not going to be able to empty containers.
Yeah.
You know,
And
1,000 cases of fireworks that weigh 400 pounds each, man. Sooner or later I'm not going to be able to pick those boxes up and move them around.
Or you don't want to.
Yeah.
But I think I got to that point. I don't want to.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to. Finally started making good decisions enough to where I could afford to hire people to do these things and get out of the business. And what that helped me do is be able to start pest control. Being able to get out of the business, and then somebody's doing pest control for us now and doing sales for us now, and now I can focus on doing this stuff and
Kind of stuff, yeah.
doing this kind of stuff, and be able to sit down with my friends and work with my friends and do the marketing aspect of the stuff, which is more fun for me to be able to have that.
Yeah, you're drinking beer at noon.
Drinking beer at noon, and
It's got a greater potential possible. I mean, it just takes one viral something. Now, you can't count on that.
I mean, are we going to hit
Certainly.
TikTok? Are we going to do the TikTok?
I don't talk.
I
But
do.
I'm not saying don't. I'm saying I don't. We'll need another
I think
agent.
you mentioned that to
click
him,
those
didn't you?
buttons.
Who?
Didn't you
And
mention
we've
that
got
to
an out
us?
TikTok, don't we?
we
I'll tell you
on
what.
the list of platforms.
well.
I'll tell you what pops.
Chinese spyware.
As far
Yeah.
it's not. Just no more
It
than
is.
Facebook, Instagram, and just
It's
phone
really
in
not.
general.
It's really not.
These,
That was
there's
supposed
these
to be
companies
over
that
with,
go
like,
Just
out
another
and
distraction.
will find these properties that are just overrun with.
Oh yeah, they'll go and,
And
do
they
them
do-
for free.
They do them for
Yeah.
free, but they do the time lapse thing where they just film them. I'm one of those ASMR people. I don't even know what ASMR stands for, but
Oh.
I love watching
Oh yeah, it's
somebody
like-
paint a wall.
Yeah, it's like,
I love watching them go
Oddly
in and
satisfying
find a
videos.
sidewalk underneath the grass. I don't know that it wouldn't be a bad idea for you guys to consider doing like a day in the truck with the guys, watching them go and do.
My big thing is I want somebody to get with the county and straighten these guys out and have them open up instead of, they do all these roundabouts and, exits to the highways and, DOT improvements and those types of things, but they never put anything in the funding for beautification. That's a completely separate fund or whatever, so it's never built into the project. So we end up with these great roadways that, look like shit. Why don't you let, local businesses bid, to maintain these roundabouts and allow them to put a sponsored plaque up there. This roundabout's sponsored by, Alf Landscaping, and they maintain the whole thing,
how they see fit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take it all, as long as it's to regulation where you're not blocking views and those
Right.
types of things. There's got to be some standards, but
Yeah.
take the budgetary concern out of it. Let the local company get a little, plaque
Advertising.
and let them outdo each other.
that.
There's five.
Right, there's
right
5
here.
up the street.
Right
If you,
we'd take one.
could do that. Yeah.
Hire out to do it.
Yeah.
I have to do it
something.
and plop a
Right.
fireworks box right in the middle of it. 4th of July.
Oh gosh. Whew.
That'd be great. Just pull into the middle of the roundabout up here, and here's your
Start
fireworks.
throwing stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
But bring it back to the people, take it off the taxation and off of the budgets and let, a local landscaping company get the, the benefit of the advertisement. And there's an example of your work right there,
Yeah.
So if you want your yard to look like this roundabout, it's maintained by,
That's an amazing idea.
so-and-so, yeah.
then just match it to that.
That one's free.
Yeah,
Really? What?
that one's free.
It's free.
There we go.
Oh shoot.
What
But
about robo mowing? I'm sorry, but I wanted to interject that like for a while. How's that come along? Did that drop? Or is it just shelved?
that's one of our 10 ideas
Yeah.
that we're trying to make stick.
Seems really early in the pregnancy of that thing.
So, the robo mowing is good. We tried the Husqvarna stuff, the little Roomba looking thing in your yard. Where I really see our opportunity is in autonomous mowing, and there's a little difference, and I'll get to that. Autonomous mowing is more GPS oriented or triangulation, rather than where these Roomba-like mowers have to work off of like a dog fence.
Yeah, they got to be programmed.
So they just bounce off this dog fence,
Yeah.
essentially. The autonomous stuff works off of triangulation with the GPS, and it's meant for open fields like our
You don't have a lot of obstacles.
a lot of obstacles, baseball fields, parking wrecks, and things, and it also it's good for those because it helps them with their manpower, and there's an opportunity for it to help us with our manpower too, being employment problems.
But you're always going to need someone to come around and brush up afterwards, right? If something GPS is off and it misses a triangle in the middle of around a post or something, you're going to have somebody that picks the machine up,
Does the detail
monitors and does the detail work type deal. Yeah.
However, for instance, we have a property that has a field that's about 6 acres. It'll mow that entire 6 acres by itself, which is about a 2-hour process if somebody is on it. So that frees up 2 hours for somebody. You can save that field in the memory of that mower, and you just get out on the field, hit mow miles 1, and it'll do it for you, and that employee can go do the detail work that it can't
Which
hit.
results in savings to the end customer sooner or later down the line.
Savings to us. But
Yeah,
anyway, but
savings to you.
we're going down that road, Patrick. But again, you either got to buy the mower for $55,000 for in your first 2-year cost, but an employee costs you $45,000.
Yep.
So it's saving you 40 there in your first 2 years.
Switching it up front.
But there's a dealership aspect that the opportunity. I feel like I could go out and sell a dozen of them right now if I had the contract for the dealership. Yes, I'd like to do that, but again, finding property.
Once you sell it to the customer, then they don't need you anymore, though. So why wouldn't you offer it as a service as opposed to
Well, let's say a park and rec or a baseball or a school baseball field had one. Well, there is, in a dealership aspect, there's the ongoing serviceability of the product as well, and they need somebody to work on it. They're going to need parts for it.
And these are all long-standing companies. It's not like they're, you're going to buy it from, Jabroni Electronics and they're going to be gone in 2 years.
Yep.
We're talking Husqvarna and
Yes, Wright's it really has a kind of forefront on this autonomous standpoint of things. Greensey is the mastermind behind the autonomy part of it. So they are backed by big people that they're not going anywhere.
Right.
And but there is after 3 years or so, they're going to trade that mower in. It affords me the opportunity to use the demo mowers with my personnel
for servicing. Yeah.
But anyway, we're talking about it, and hopefully we'll get there. Hopefully that 1 of 10 sticks, and we'll see. But it takes brick and mortar to be able to have something like that, and capital and cash is king, right?
Yeah,
everything.
Property's king right now. We're in an area that that's one of the toughest things for us in our industry is trying to find property that is not, you know, through the nose expensive, you know.
And it's tough letting it go of that dollar bill.
Yeah,
It's tough.
Yeah, especially when it's not undeveloped property, then you're looking at a whole nother cost. So, you know, I look at these guys that, you know, we're in partnerships with that are up in South Carolina, and they're getting dirt cheap, you know. They got 20,000 square foot warehouses that they bought for $150,000, $200,000, you know, that are down here, you know, $4 million. You know, it's just, you can't,
It's crazy.
you can't touch it. It's hard to,
It's crazy.
yeah.
So anyway, that's where we're at. Some pressure points with customers and us at this are alerts that we like to tell customers this time of year. Army worms is a big thing that will be popping up here.
Are those the sack worms?
No.
In the trees?
No.
What are those?
Those are tent caterpillars is what they call them. And they will harm your tree, and you do need to spray your tree for those.
I've noticed more of those in the last 5-6 years than I have in the last 20 years.
But main reason is because we haven't had a really hard winter in a while. Yes, we had a 3-day 0 degree type of thing that hurt our lawns and our shrubs. But you really need about a week of sub 33, 32 degree weather to kill what we've got around here to keep our pest population under control. We just haven't gotten that over the past few years.
That's all, folks.